Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. Remember that you can be a part of our conversation if you find us on SABC Network. Now that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you if you think there's enough funding for tech entrepreneurs. Results of that are coming up later in the program. But first, here's what's coming up tonight. At Digifest, there were conversations about art and 4IR, and there were also animation classes. This was all provided free of charge. Media ethics and journalism in the digital era. Because tech is part of our lives in every way, it now comes with new challenges. These challenges were some of the discussions at Digifest at the Durban University of Technology.
X is a platform where students get inspired about the future and also possibly make career plans for themselves. And I suspect that some could have even connected and gotten contacts of some experts so that they can continue working together in the future.
Every year we have a theme for Digifest, and it seemed pertinent that this year we needed to focus on what we called Industry 4.0. Is how we're training our students to be able to work in environments that are completely different from environments that many of us who are teaching were used to.
In this era, everyone must know about media ethics. They must practice media ethics.
Those here discussed art and 4IR. They spoke about media ethics in the digital era. Some even got new skills in animation provided by award-winning Cape Town-based Triggerfish.
For 5 years, our focus was really on integrating technology into disciplines which we felt really needed to focus on new ways of working.
This annual event aims to get various creative industries to engage about how the new digital era alters various professions.
I've enjoyed the stuff that other guys are doing, like the architects and, bloggers and the like.
You have less than 5 minutes to finish your scene, please.
These conversations would make it easier for some to navigate their way through the complicated world of the fourth industrial revolution. Energizer is known for its batteries, but now they've moved into the mobile phone space. Producer Lebo Mukomela played with the new Energizer phone. She tells us all about it.
According to Energizer, this battery life lasts for 9 days on standby and 15 hours in use without needing to be recharged. They do live up to their standard of them being battery creators. This phone does last long, and I can attest to that. The charger is one thing I really liked it. It's something different you've never really seen because it has different plugging points for different sockets. You can do it on your twin plug or on a different kind of twin plug, or like sort of the American socket type of thing, or maybe we can even call it it's not really a universal charger, but the fact that you can attach and detach it to a favorable socket is a nice aspect of the phone. It has a 13 megapixel main camera, which is the back camera, and a 5 megapixel front camera for your selfies, which is really not bad. I did experience taking photos with it and a couple of selfies, and it does have the beauty mode, and that's about it when it comes to photo editing tools. But it really does take good pictures actually for a small phone like this. I think it's an element of surprise when you take a picture with a phone like this, because you don't expect much from its camera, but when it gives you like those clear, crisp pictures, then you're sort of impressed. This is a low end because it is a light, and it goes for about 4,399 in shelves. And what I like also is the fact that it's a waterproof. So it's waterproof, it doesn't get damaged in water, something that a lot of these latest smartphone makers are delving into, because they do know that people tend to get clumsy, or babies throw your phone into the toilet, and you think that's the end of it, but it's really not with this one. I would recommend it, I think, for your young one, if maybe you have a tween, you know, somewhere between the ages of 11 to 12, or your teenager from 13 maybe to 14, 15, and the elderly. Like when I say the elderly, I don't mean to be rude or anything. Not really old people, but maybe people that your 50s maybe, that are not really concerned about high-end smartphones and having a 6 point something inch display screen, you know, to consume video content or anything like that. This would be great for a consumer who just, you know, would like to have their WhatsApp on their phone. You know, it's nice and you know, it's usable. You can text, you can use your Android operating system and your Google Suite. You can receive your email. It works perfectly. So for people that are not really looking for hardcore tools, editing tools or videography, you know, that are not looking for sort of like what do we call ourselves nowadays? People that are not phonographers. This is, I wouldn't recommend it for people that are maybe into the whole phonography industry, to say. But I think it is a good phone for those age groups that I mentioned, and it's not really that expensive for your child or your mom or your mother-in-law.
South Africa's first Samsung Galaxy Studio has opened. It offers various things such as gaming. Producer Sandile Hlangani went to its launch.
The race to own customer experience is on. Companies are recognizing the importance of delivering an experience that makes them stand out from their competition.
Customer requirement is a table stake. It's a deal breaker, because one simple bad experience can really turn someone off. But yet also on the other hand, a very good experience can retain your customers and keep them for a very long time. That is why at Samsung we take customer experience very seriously by training our people on an ongoing basis, increasing our product knowledge, and them being solution architects for our customers.
What is interesting about this is that it's not the companies that are driving this change. Instead, this change is being driven by the customer.
Customer experience for me is, I feel like it's one of the best things, because you get to actually interact with the phone itself instead of you reading about it and hearing about it. You get to touch it, feel it, take as many pictures, download as many apps as they say that are capable of, and then you can either prove them right or you can prove them wrong.
I think for me it's very vital to experience the actual product, you know, to get to see if, you know, your value for money, you know, is being sold to you.
I'd like to see the specs, like instead of just read about them. But the camera is clear, but how do I know it's clear? And how clear is it? So I have to like at least take a selfie or two and like go onto the phone and stuff. And I think that's why like most stores have phones on display.
In order to let the customers experience the new Galaxy Note 10, Samsung has launched the Galaxy Studio in Johannesburg, Cape Town and Durban. The studios will transport visitors to a one-stop experience of mobile connectivity where they can try out Samsung's latest devices such as Galaxy Note 10.
The experiences bring is a live demonstration of the brand values and the live demonstration, touch and feel of the product and service that we do sell and make available to our customers and consumers. For example, what you're looking at here is a classical example where people can spend time and get deep knowledge and understanding of the Galaxy Note 10.
Every participant visiting the studio will be equipped with the Galaxy Note 10 smartphone to experience different zones where they can personally try the phone's extensive functions.
It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we chat about a new court judgment that says there is something not quite right with the RICA law.
Coletta Njohi for SABC News in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Leon Sanyange, SABC News, Entebbe, Uganda.
Chris Ochamringa, SABC News, Beni, Democratic Republic of Congo.
Sarah Kemani for SABC News in Accra, Ghana.
Phil Ihaza, SABC News, Abuja. Daniel Kijo, SABC, Dar es Salaam.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Welcome back. Now, there's a court judgment that says a part of the RICA provision go against the Constitution. We went to the streets to find out how you guys feel about RICA and whether you actually do RICA your SIM cards.
I would prefer to go to Pick and Pay wherever they RICA my SIM card with my name and my details, especially if it's going to be easy for me if I want to do a SIM swap. But then if it's not under my name, it's not going to be easy and it's going to be hard. And what if, because we don't know what those Pakistans use, which details they use, what if they use my details and to find out that someone else is using a SIM card under my details? So I'll go to Pick and Pay.
I mean, I would prefer buying a SIM card from Pakistan, Indian and all these other people, because when our Pick and Pay or all these other places sell us SIM cards and we RICA, I feel like it's always with malicious intent. They're trying to spy on us, they're trying to use the information that they have access to against us. And if I buy from some local spaza shop, I can do anything, I still have my freedom. Pick and Pay, all these other brands, Masrika, not for me.
So the reason why I think it's better for you to go to Pick and Pay and RICA your SIM card is because that it will be registered under your name. And if you buy it from other shops like your Indian shops, it won't be registered under your name. So you're gonna have difficulties when you try to SIM swap, like to do a SIM swap, to change your number, maybe to change your number or to change to a different network, because it will ask for your details when you try to SIM swap. Because when you check, your number is not registered under your name, so you won't be able to do the SIM swap.
So I sat down with a journalist, Karabo Nwebe, to find out how this new court judgment affects the work that journalists do and whether it really affects everybody or just a few people. Karabo Nwebe, thank you very much for being a part of our network. Maybe if you can start by telling us what the new judgment actually says.
The judgment says certain aspects of the RICA Act go against the constitution of the country. And the judge has now given Parliament 2 years to rectify those aspects to make sure that it is in line with the Constitution and does not infringe on anyone's rights.
How does it then affect the work that you do as an investigative journalist?
Yes, it does. Because, as you know, once you buy a new cell phone or a new SIM card, you have to give your details to RICA the SIM card. Now, what that made is that it made it easier for those that are in the communications department, the security forces, to be able to track and they know your information, so it becomes easier for them to then trace and then record your communication with people. So with the line of what we do, it has been extremely difficult because many of us know and have been suspecting for years that our phones are tapped, especially political reporters, investigative journalists and those that are doing crime. So at least this one will give us a bit of reprieve and give us a breathing space from those authorities from bugging our systems and knowing who we're speaking to and recording our conversations.
Does it affect ordinary South Africans as well?
Not in this current format. So what it basically means is that the judge says lawyers and journalists have to be notified after the process of cell phone interception, recordings of what was happening, why they were being recorded. But the ordinary people in the streets do not have that luxury. They would not need to be explained to in terms of why they were being spied upon, why they were being recorded, why the communication was being intercepted. So it only, in its current format, it's only serving those that are in positions of a bit of authority, those are in positions that are well off, while the ordinary people on the streets are still left at the mercy of those that can use the very same system, the very same act to do nefarious acts.
What is the reason that's often given to us for us to be expected to recur?
They say they need to be able to control and understand the people that are owning the cell phone, so that if there is a certain crime committed somewhere, they're able to use that information, cell phone towers, to gather that information and say this cell phone which belongs to such and such an individual pinged at this cell tower when this crime took place. But unfortunately, that system has now been hijacked by people who've got ulterior motives, people that are using it for their own personal gains, to settle political scores, to even, in a way, to gather information on some of the sources that feed journalists, the sensitive information that government and certain politicians don't want the information coming out.
So now, will journalists such as yourselves be still expected to recur?
Yes, we are all still expected to recur. That is not going to change. It's just going to be the law governing the process and how information is gathered and the communication intercepted that is going to be regulated. But apart from that, you are still expected to recur your SIM card. Government will still have your information, your address and all those things.
Do you still think that there will then be a chance for people to intercept the conversations that investigative journalists are having on their smartphones, or will this now stop?
I doubt it. The people that are wanting those things, that they want that information, they've got ways of manipulating the system to get their way of doing it. Because I mean, apart from Samsung, who brought the court action along with Amapungane, Stephen Hofstadter and Mzilikazi Africa, where also communications was being intercepted, that communication was intercepted. So unfortunately, those that are in charge of this system, they know how to manipulate it. So we cannot be guaranteed that going forward this is going to stop.
Karabongwepe, thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
My favorite piece of technology has definitely got to be my phone. Hey, ndenzel anxiety ngamanye amaxesha, but can't live without. I love you so much. It's got a low battery, gotta go.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Now, here's what else took place in the rest of the tech space in the rest of the world.
The Huawei Mate 30 and Mate 30 Pro were revealed on Thursday, September 19th. The Mate series was launched at an exclusive event in Munich, Germany, and was streamed live globally. The Chinese tech giant says the device is the world's first second-generation 5G smartphone. And now to the US. Microsoft President and Chief Legal Officer Brad Smith said that technology companies are likely to change how they moderate online platforms in response to new laws from foreign governments, regardless of whether US lawmakers act to change a US law that has allowed social media platforms to flourish.
But there is a principle that we have held to. We will not allow any government to put equipment inside our data center. And there have been days when we have had governments that have pushed us on that, and we have said we'll close the data center. We will not stay in this country if that's what comes to this.
Smith also said Microsoft has turned down government requests for facial recognition software in cases where it fears misuse and will never sell the technology for surveillance. Microsoft has called for stronger regulation of facial recognition technology, which has been used in China to track ethnic minorities. And now in China. The new iPhone 11 series hit stores in China on Friday, among worries from fans that Apple may lose China's market for missing out on 5G technology.
What I hope for is mature 5G. If they're quickly pushing out 5G, then I won't take it if it doesn't come with the full 5G function. I hope there is an update with 5G. For an example, with 5G, you can have AR or VR. If Apple can supply AR or VR, or if they supply VR goggles or other products with the phone, then I would probably think it's pretty good and would definitely buy it.
Apple has yet to set a date to launch a 5G phone, but fans worry that if the California-based phone giant can't put out a new 5G phone next year, it may lose China's market. Still in Asia, inspired by new ultra-thin solar panels developed for satellites, a project led by Toyota Motor Corp is experimenting with the sun-powered Prius that it hopes will one day require no plugging in. In the Japanese government-funded demonstration project, Toyota engineers fitted solar panels designed by Sharp Corp to the boot, the roof, rear window and spoiler to see just how much juice the sun can generate.
One of the difficulties we faced to develop this was to attach solar panels on a curved surface of the car.
According to the engineer, making the entire package lighter and bringing down the extremely high cost of the technology are among the biggest challenges before commercialization.
The Energizer Prize for African Entrepreneurs has announced its list of 20 entrepreneurs who are vying for over $20 million worth of funding. So on Twitter, our poll is asking you if you think there's enough funding for African entrepreneurs with innovative ideas. Now, 17% of you say yes, there is enough support and funding for entrepreneurs. There's a 47% of you who say no. That number is in the vast majority. At 21% are those of you who say you just don't know. And then there is a 15% of you who say this is actually not even important. That's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. From me, it's Pumela Lezondi and the rest of the team. Have a good one. Thank you very much. Goodbye.